What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology, the Titans action, spawning in the bottom of the map in the red color, playing as Isis. His name is Hell's Ravage. His opponent today in the blue color, playing as Odin. His name is the Rapl. The map is Ghost Lake, and we have yet another incredibly high level 1v1 coming at you. These guys are both some of the best players in the game. And we do have a very, very spicy matchup for you. We have the Isis versus Odin matchup that we haven't seen a whole lot of late. And I do believe part of the reason is that Isis has slightly fallen out of favor due to the prominence of gods like Poseidon, Hades. These gods seemingly a little bit too much for Isis to handle, and therefore we don't see Isis as much as we used to. That doesn't mean that Isis is necessarily a bad god, and I do think that you can get wins in those matchups. It's just a little bit easier to be playing those Norse gods into the Greek gods and getting your wins that way. And therefore some Isis and Egyptian players are not really playing so much Isis, more like sticking to the Ra, because Ra is kind of good across the board, whereas Isis kind of struggles just a little bit. However, I'm not sure if that's 100% the case. Hells is here to show us why Isis has got some strengths here as he's deciding to pick her in this game. We do see that the Ulfsark has already spotted our Isis priest, and we might be noticing that this is potentially one of the problems with Isis in the early game, and it's actually one of the problems with Egyptian in general, is that early game scouting can get shut down very, very easily by every single civilization, I mean, apart from Atlanteans. So Greeks shut down the Egyptian scouting with their Katoskopos. Norse shut down the Egyptian scouting with their Ulfsark. You can be very, very frustrated in those situations. We do see a little bit of idle time here for Hells as he's currently AFK. Does decide to move over onto this Auroch. There's not going to be enough food here for Hells to really advance. I don't think it's 400 food here with the Pharaoh empowerment, which adds a total of 20% onto that one. You do the math. I can't do that math. It's too hard for me. That's just how I think it's 80. Okay, you get an extra 80 food out of this Auroch. As we see the granary getting rebuilt to increase his food gather time. So if you do all the quick math, you realize that we don't actually end up getting enough food here. So he's going to have to make his way up onto these caribou nonetheless, or eat a goat or something like that. So we'll see if he's going to choose to do that or not. He does get his monument up, house up at a very late time. 2 villagers on wood nice and early here from Hells does indicate that we're probably not going to be seeing a second town center here from Hells. He's probably going to be going for a 1 town center play, either classical fight or fast heroic. Now, I do prefer to get these wood villages much, much later if I'm going for a classical fight. If I'm going for a fast heroic, I prefer these villages very, very early in order to get pickaxe, husbandry, potentially plow, shaft mine. All of that stuff needs to come in to get me my advantage that way. Now, Rapl, on the other hand, just about to click up. He has had enough food over here. It looks like he did cast Great Hunt on those Aurochs, and he's going to be advancing through Freya. There's not really a surprise there. I don't see a whole lot of reason to go Heimdall in this matchup against Isis. Part of the problem being that you can't use your Undermine against the Isis player because they've got that monument protection. And things can be a little bit sucky there. There is a world where going Heimdall Njord kind of timings with Odin against, say, Ra and Set can be a good idea, but against Isis, it seems that it's better to just play that defensive game and kind of get your advantage elsewhere. So he's got himself 5 villagers on wood nice and early. Now, this could be for early watchtowers just to make sure he can defend. Fighting an Egyptian classical fight with Odin, especially Isis with potentially Anubis, can be a very, very difficult thing to do. So we are seeing a very late advance time coming for Hells, 5:30. And it is, to me, this indicates a fast heroic. And he is going through Anubis, which throws a bit of a spanner in the works, but this could just be Anubis, second monument going down, build 1 or 2 Anubites with a heroic age behind it, potentially going through Hathor as an idea, as we do see those Voltarks coming in, the villagers pulling back, and we are now seeing one of those big weaknesses of ISIS in the early game, against pretty much every single civilization, and it's only really ISIS that struggles with this unless ISIS decides to build a whole bunch of priests early, and that's the early game push off of your hunt. So we are still seeing 5 caribou remaining here on this location, which Hells does not have access to, which can be very, very sad. Now, the question really does come down to, do we have husbandry? Yes, and that's why Hells went off and got this wood nice and early, was to get that husbandry, so he could sit here on these herdables and feel very good about himself. Now, if we continue all the questions we had, he's gone through Anubis. Is he going to go straight onto the favor enhancement technology, or second Anubite, or the other one? It looks like second Anubite. He's just going to run around and be annoying with this 5.3 speed on the Anubite. Very, very good. And we're seeing a town center behind this. This is very, very peculiar to me. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Maybe it's just because the map forced him into this kind of situation and he feels like he needs to get this town center. But in terms of ordering, I'm not 100% sure about it, but this is what he's going for. Rapl, on the other hand, he's throwing up his armory, temple coming down, longhouse coming down, walls coming up as he sees the Anubises come through. Villagers still happily gathering over here, and you can see that Hells has got no idea where to send his Anubites, but it's looking like he might be going to the right place nonetheless. We're getting a little bit lucky there that there's already a Hersa wandering over here to defend. The Valkyrie hanging back. You definitely need to keep that one back. And there the Anubites have got no idea where to go. And this is 100% the weakness. If you say Hells had found himself the relic with the Pegasus, he would know 100% where to go and be already putting pressure onto his opponent. But alas, he's going to be running straight into a wall. Not going to be able to get any value out of these Anubites early game here. And he still is only 1 monument, so he's not going to be spamming these Anubites out at all. And he gets his town center up, second monument coming up over here to block that. He might decide to try and get back onto this onto these caribou over here. And as Rapl has kind of decided, well, the only real way for me to go in this game is to go to the heroic age. He's thrown a little bit of a curveball here, if you ask me. As Hells has kind of put the question to Rapl, Anubis, but fast second town center, or not fast, kind of fast second town center. Normally we see when we see Anubis, it's normally like heavy classical fight or a fast heroic abusing those myth units. But the Anubite fast second town center we don't see a whole lot of here. So Rapl getting his own delayed second town center here. He's already got his armory up. This is looking to me to be some sort of 2 town center fast heroic from Rapl, delayed 2 town center fast heroic from Rapl. What I'd love to see from him here is to bring these goats. He's doing it. I love this. Bring these goats over to this town center. Bring these goats over to these dwarves. And once he gets to the 500 gold, just pull off the dwarves here onto food and then just hyper accelerate up to the heroic age here. Hells, on the other hand, he's already chucking down. He was chucking down his barracks very late. Surprised to see this, but obviously maybe wants to think about getting out Axemen to counter those Paspis, those infantry units. A very important aspect in the armory. Hells chucking down his armory. Now getting his farms up. Prosperity being cast. Does he have Shaft Mine? He's got Pickaxe, so no Shaft Mine. So it's not the best of prosperities, but going to be fine nonetheless. As we continue in this game, town center is up for Rapl, and he's going to start building those villages. Still a little bit too much gold in the bank. Would have liked to have seen this town center being used to advance to the heroic age here, and then obviously some more longhouses get thrown down and start working your way towards the heroic age, hill forts, etc., etc. Definitely not. You're definitely kind of playing a defensive aspect here with Odin. So Skadi coming through now for Rapl. It's not a bad heroic age at all. The timing here is not bad at all. He continues to get his villager income. He throws a whole bunch of villagers over onto wood. The walls are all up, though. We haven't actually managed to completely wall everything up. And these Anubites have just not found any value in this game. And maybe Hells is kicking himself a little bit for picking Anubis in this game. Maybe better would have been Bast, but that could change the way that Rappl's going to play. So all the things being forced here, so these villagers are going to attempt to move over onto the Caribou as a raiding cavalry is going to be hanging out here. And Hells is just going to have an incredibly big economy as he's already got these farms up. He's got 17 farms already, but they are only in the classical age. You want to get irrigation as fast as you possibly can here in this game. As the Anubites do try and make their way through, we see Rapl attempting some ghost buildings here, but he's not going to be able to pick these guys off. They are Guardian Anubites now, but that doesn't really change how fast they can run. The Valkyrie can still catch up to them if you put that one in front, and there's Rapple's heroic age coming through. I can see one humongous problem coming for Rapl now. He's still got 2,700 gold left in this gold mine, but one big problem for Rapl is going to be second gold mine. He's got a gold mine over here. This is the one he wants. He's got a gold mine over here. This is not the one he wants. But it's only 2 gold mines on the map. So a big Nephthys defense here from Hells is going to go, or not defense, but gold staff, I should say, is going to go a long way. However, Rapl does have himself Frost, so that's going to be a big counter to the... it's a bit funny that the Frost Giant can't use his special ability on those, but you learn something new every day. So the Frost is there to block the Ancestors, so you can't really get a gold staff. So we're going to see a very fast Mythic Age here from Rapl. I hope he's not thinking about going for Balder here. Oh, actually, in hindsight, maybe Balder is actually a half decent idea here. Thinking that Hells has already used Prosperity. He's probably not got a whole lot of gold left in his base. And look at this, he's got about 3,000 gold left. A Balder and hold on to the Balder, making Fire Giants, and then as soon as your opponent moves out of his base onto a second gold mine, you click Rag. Oh, actually, there's an amazing gold mine back here. Never mind. Tira is the only option here for Rapl. Very early Fimbulwinter here as well, as these Guardian Anubites do make it into Rapple's base. They're causing just a little bit of issues here, as Rapl is going to be running around the map, trying to deal with this. One villager looking like it's about to get taken out here, but doesn't end up falling, as the Valkyrie will be able to start jabbing away at this Anubite. It's going to be running around the base and causing some issues for Rapl. Going to be a little bit annoyed that they managed to get in here, but it is what it is. There's the Locust Swarm. We did see Hathor for Hell, so it just does go the Anubis Hathor route instead of the Nephthys route, so playing around Frost just a little bit. Though I do think that you kind of want to be using Anubis, not Anubis, you kind of want to be using Ancestors to force Frost so that your Son of Osiris is going to be nice and healthy. Anyways, Tyr just about to pop here, as Hells is also potentially just about to go to the next age. He's moved out onto this gold mine already. Mining camp coming down. Villagers onto this gold mine now. Ready to click up, and there's the Tyr, and there will be an immediate click of Fimbulwinter here. No, Rapple's just hold on to that for whatever reason. There he goes with the Fimbulwinter, and we're checking out the damage it's going to do here, causing all these villagers to have to go idle here. As we'll see, the current damage, he's got 4 villagers on food remaining, 8 villagers on gold, so many dead villagers. These villagers over here, very lucky to not have any wolves on them, considering where they all spawned. So the amount of damage here that Rapl is doing with this Fimbulwinter is absolutely huge. The town center gets grabbed. Rapple's on 3 town centers. How many villagers idle? 40 idle villagers, as Osiris is coming through. The only problem here for Rapl is he hasn't actually managed to secure any of the map here. The villagers moving back out a little preemptively. Does lose 1 or 2 extra villagers there, but no problems, as he's going to continue going with his production here. And we'll see how it's all going to go for him. Rapple's at 110 of 145 population here. Going to be trying to get out some incredibly strong units. He's got himself the Jarl over here. He's going to making himself those Huskal. And it's a tough one. He's got the economic advantage here. But Hell's is 3 town centers. He's going to be Osiris. There is a Frost, and essentially you just want to be trading Frost for Son of Osiris if you can. There is also a potential Forest Fire that could be used to open up the map here just a little bit. Can we get this onto here? It looks like you can actually burn this forest down to open up an attack onto this gold mine from behind, away from this town center, which could be a very nice try for Rapl, as he is moving his army over onto this position here, looking for some sort of an attack. Hell's now seeing the army moving forward here. He's got 74 favor in the bank. Wouldn't be surprised to see a whole bunch of mummies getting produced here. As we do see the forest fire on this position, another position that is very, very smart to be opening up here. However, Son of Osiris coming in, and we cannot cast our frost while this Son of Osiris is sitting underneath that monument there. So Rapl is going to have to figure out a different way forward here, as the Rock is going to continue raiding. Here we do have the Patsukos. We've got a double Golden Lion. Sis is just going to move into Rappel's base and cause some problems there. We've got some Axemen over here spotting this gold mine, and this is going to be... I said the second gold mine was an issue for Rapl, but turns out the third gold mine, or fourth gold mine technically, in this game is going to actually be the issue. And Rapl has not started a trade route yet. He's got his Ulfsark in the corner, ready to start said trade route. But having this gold mine expire incredibly fast here, he needs to get that trade route started yesterday. Frost that. He's out of position. He's back to underneath the monument protection there. That was a perfect frost as Hells had moved out there. We do see the raids now coming in onto this location as the Rock has managed to get in behind these dwarves. No real way to counter this without sending a lot of population back here. As we do see that frost coming in. Where is the Son of Osiris? You click the army, you see where he is, and you have to get as much damage done onto the Son of Osiris as you possibly can. Where is he? I can't even see. They're just... I don't know where he is. That's fine. He's taking some damage. But the mummies are all coming out. This is brutal right now. The mummies are such an incredibly underutilized and ridiculously strong heroic age myth unit. We see Plague of Serpents getting thrown down as well just to help out just a little bit. The Axemen coming in, and it's looking like Rapl has to retreat back as the mummies just coming completely clean Rappel's army. How do you deal with the mummies is the real question here in this game. Like, you kind of need to get out, I don't even know, Mass Jarl here in a way. The Son of Osiris took a little bit of damage there as the Frost Giant does manage to come back in here and clean up that Patsukos at the very least. But there's just so many minions here. Does he upgrade the mummy as well? Maybe it's worth it. You get even stronger minions, stronger mummies. I think you get stronger minions. I don't know what you get. Mummy's just continuing to move in. And whoop, Son of Osiris underneath Tower Fire here, getting a little bit of damage done onto the Son of Osiris while this fight is going on. Rapl has to kind of take this fight. You kind of need Ballista in a way to clean up the Son of Osiris, if we're completely honest here. But again, the big problem for Rapl that we aren't seeing addressed in any way, shape, or form just yet is this Ulfsark not throwing the marker down and no trade route being started. We do see a couple of barracks down, or longhouses, I should say, down on this position here, as Rapl is going to try and switch the battlefront and maybe go after this Townsend. I would like to see maybe Brave Huskarl here get 5 to 10, or probably 10 Brave Huskarl to come through and take this Townsender down. That's the tier unique upgrade, which manages to give, or which doesn't manage, it gives double damage onto those Huskarl, which already have high base damage. So they do tons of damage to town centers and the like. Let's check out the economic upgrades here. We do have irrigation. We got bowsaw and pickaxe. It's kind of the opposite way around. You want shaft mine and hand axe, and then you want quarry and carpenters is kind of the tiers of upgrades you really do want. We do see these villagers coming up into the corner over here as an Ulfsark. Going to be chopping them down, trying to throw these barracks up in the corner of the map. Not going to go the way of Hells just yet, as they all get taken down. And we always see some chariot archers coming over here to help push through. Hells is at 168 population, and Rapl is at 160 population. Both players are relatively well set up, except for the fact that Hell's army composition is incredibly strong right now, and Rappel's is not. Rapl has got some Jarl here, which are going to be a good usage against those Axemen. But with those 4 mummies, that's dead, and then you're left with like 5 Jarls here with the Son of Osiris to take them down. The Jarls actually don't have that much hack armor, only 20% hack armor, as you see the chariot archers coming over here to help push this back. I would love to see Rapl throw up some sort of a hill fort here, but Rapl is in a disastrous position now as he's finally starting to throw down those markets and get that trade route started. He's got himself 1,000 gold left in his home base here, and that's kind of it for him. As the army coming through here, I mean, if Rapl wants to fight this, it's going to be a difficult fight to happen here, as we do see that Frost Giant gets immediately sniped here, as those mummies are just ridiculously shot. How have we not seen the upgrade come through? It's so good. I can't even see what it is. When you get 4 mummies, you have to get them upgraded. It feels bad missing that, but whatever. And Rapl is just finding himself in possibly just like the most ridiculous situation ever. But the thing is, against this army composition, there is actually no real counter to Ballista. So if he could get a whole bunch of Ballista back here, instead of these normal units, he'd be able to just spam those out and walls behind it, and then just sit behind that as he's trying to set up his trade route and try and spam buildings around with Ulfstark, not really engage the army at all, and just try and defend. Because there's no pushing power with this army until the siege comes through. And if the siege is there, then the Ballista take the siege down. So it's very, very important to get that out, as now the catapult are indeed coming through to push through these buildings. And the problem for Rapl is he's currently having to sell resources in order to train all his units, and he's still going through with these Jarls, these throwing axemen and everything else. There's really no way through this army without Ballista at this point. Ballista are 110% the key here in this game, as we see one straggler mummy here. This is going to be a nice snipe here for Rapl, as he's going to move his great Jarls in. But every single time this mummy comes through, yes, it costs 25 favor, but 200 gold for one Jarl kill here is not actually that bad. And we're going to see this mummy potentially escape here, as we also don't have Thundering Hooves through for those great Jarl. We do see the Hill Fort up on this position, going to be able to take in those Chariot Archers, take those down. Do we see Bravery through? Yes, we do. Obviously, Rappel's got that in the back of his mind, that he wants to potentially swap locations here. As we see the signal fires coming through for Rapl, so he can see the map just a little bit more, like Hells has also got himself. And this is just one bonkers army here that Hells has managed to create. He's just managed to just lose literally nothing here and just completely demolish that Norse army of Rapl. And Rappel's going to be thinking to himself, man, how do I get anything in this game? How do I make any progress here? As his trade route is getting shut down over here as well. The double Migdol's up. Watchtowers slowly starting to come in. Catapults way in the back. We've got those siege catapults in, siege engineers through. Another hill fort falling, and that's all of Rappel's production getting taken out. Rappel's at 127 or 160 population. Hells is making Isis look incredibly potent here in this game, as we see the Son of Osiris coming back in yet again underneath the town center. 24 HP, 15 HP, 5 HP, and dead. In the 21st minute here, Rapl has managed to take down the Son of Osiris, but there is still this glaring issue of 4 mummies, of champion axemen, champion spearmen, chariot archers with no upgrades, but it doesn't matter. But the question really is going to be, is Rapl setting up over on this location here to make a big push? Yes, he's got 8 champion Huskal here. Hells on the other hand, does he have his upgrades here? Yes, he's got some upgrades, and he decides to tap out there instead of seeing it through. But Masons, fortified town centers, and barracks already in with the axemen in here. There's no sneaky shenanigans that can happen there for Rapl. Now, I have to say it, this game here feels like a game that is a rush to your dream composition. That's what this game was. A rush to your dream composition. Now, the dream composition for Isis, as we've seen here against Norse, seems to be Axeman Mummy, Chariot Archer, and there is no way for the human units and even myth units of a Norse player to break this composition. However, the composition is immobile and has no real way to get onto your siege, onto your Ballista. Ballista has to be the only real answer for this style of play here from Hell's Ravage. If Rapl had tried to get out his Ballista and just focus on walls, towers, and being defensive behind that, maybe Heimdall was the answer here to get safeguard towers up and just rush towards that late game composition. Obviously, he doesn't know that in the moment. This forest fire here actually was a good idea. It just came a little bit late. There was a potential for a timing here on this town center. Forest fire through, target this down, as both players kind of went for fast mythics, but Rapl didn't choose to do that. And this game is one of those games where you watch, and in the moment, and I know I would be like this, in the moment, very frustrating because you feel like there's nothing you can do. But in hindsight, Ballista has to be the only real answer here for a late game for a late game dream comp rush. And the idea behind it is that, for one, it's less resources in a way, because you don't have to spend resources on the cavalry. Cavalry are kind of like not really that important, or you just want to make infantry, walls, ballista, defend. Then you're okay. The Son of Osiris becomes useless because he can't walk close enough to the ballista. The ballista got 30 range. It's more than enough. And that would be a very, very interesting game, to say the least, because then you get into a kind of Norse late game dream versus Egyptian late game dream, which you don't see too often. And then you can start seeing, well, players have to go into those weaker units, like go into like cavalry or something to try and take down those ballista. And then you can start working in your Huskal raids, your portable ram raids, all that stuff. Same too, you can work in those rock side build shenanigans, all the good stuff. Anyway, so if you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next game.